Yo, 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 people and patrons of the night, it is your boy, the Horror Lander. And this is going to be an unedited, raw video that I make giving my honest thoughts about Goosebumps Season 2, The Vanishing. What do I think about the future of this show? And just being fully honest about my thoughts, trying to be as organized as I can. Just going to try to keep it as brief as possible. Excuse if there's any background noise because I have people in the house or me coughing, but I just wanted to get straight into it. So, first and foremost, I knew I was going to talk about episodic reviews, but I decided that half of the show I won't because at this point it just feels like a chore for me to get through this show. What happens every year that the show basically drops is that you're going to have a bunch of people spamming, talking about please review the show, please talk about the show, whatever, for a month straight, while reviewers are giving their honest thoughts about the show. People are going to come in and basically get upset that we're not sucking it off. You have a lot of gaslighters and gatekeepers who all of a sudden come out of the woodworks because it's a modern, new, hip show. Um, and I'm kind of getting sick of it, because I know that after a month, nobody's going to talk about this season until somebody big, or some other big reviewer or YouTuber or platform or whatever basically makes some coverage about it. People will just forget about it. It'll go into the annals of time. But what I have to say positives for this show, it was an improvement to the first season. Overall, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. The found footage episode number 6 was my favorite. It had a lot of potential. It showed a lot of what the good things the show could do in terms of characters, writing, engagement. I like some of the body horror and some of the scary things in there. But there is a lot of just things that they didn't necessarily fix about the show. This was not a complete 180 turnaround where they revamped and fixed all the mistakes. They basically fixed like half or less of the mistakes, and they decided to keep in some of the things that we did not like about the first season. And they just toned it down. They didn't remove it. They just toned it down. For some reason, they want to keep pandering to a modern audience or some people who don't really have that much engagement with the Goosebumps franchise. This season kind of just felt like a watered down Stranger Things. The characters, unlikely group of people coming together, alien invasion, weird things happening. It just felt like a watered down Stranger Things, except the talent, effort, support, and writing that Stranger Things puts in with its cast and group that's behind the show, that's not in this one. There is like half of these characters in this season 2, The Vanishing, who are just caricature stereotypes. You know, Cece is your typical vegan kombucha college little Miss Perfect girl who doesn't get any character development towards the end. Alex is basically your sort of girl who she basically got accused of a crime she didn't do. That's all she talks about. She's not willing to solve it directly. She just mostly pouts about it and tries to do roundabout ways to help out her life. And these two characters' main character development towards the end is that they're a lesbian couple in love and about to go kiss. And the rest of their characters for half of this show, the other 50% of the show, only thing about their characters is just getting to know each other, hooking up and kissing. That's a big thing about the show. It loves mellow teen drama. Every season is like very immature despite the fact they promote being mature because they try to make big emphasis on, ew, look at this boy and girl hold hands and kiss and hook up and flirt and rizz up. Look at this girl and girl action. Look at this boy and boy action. It's like, we get it. They're teens. They hook up. Does that have to be the focal point of their characters? Does Trey have to continuously keep trying to get into Frankie's pants and make that his thing even after he gets redemption, even after his character redeems? He's still talking about trying to hook up with Frankie and, yeah, I'm not upset. It's okay. You and Devin can get together. It's like, why do you waste these characters? You show good characters with Dr. Brewer, with CJ, with the teen group from 1994 that was on the VHS tape. Those group of teens had good actors, good actresses, good dynamics, authentic dialogue. I was interested, invested in it. It was a creepy episode where they allocated talent. They got the director of Blair Witch to make that episode. I really enjoyed that 1994 stuff, and it was in the right time period to honor Goosebumps. Yeah, not adapt Goosebumps word for word, page for page. I don't expect that, but at least to honor the vibe and make things work out. But no, they had to throw in that modern shit. They had to throw in the modern lingo, gyat, bussin', all those stupid types of jokes, because that's how authentic teens talk. And I've had a bunch of people tell me, like, hey, that's how authentic teenagers talk. This is how teens talk, even though it seems like, they're trying to impersonate the modern age. This is accurate. I am not going to a local high school during fifth period lunch to watch kids talk. I am watching a TV show production, an entertainment production with actors, actresses, directors, producers, and paid writers. There are so many examples of teenagers and kids content out there that have characters who don't speak and don't act like your typical word for word average person you'd find on the street. No, they got memorable and iconic lines, good dialogue, good character development. Look at the Home Alone franchise. Look at Stranger Things. Look at the OG Goosebumps with the Haunted Mask and Haunted Mask 2. There's a bunch of other examples out there of kids content that people love, teenager and college kid content that people love, and they remember certain people and certain characters because there is a team behind it that puts in the effort, talent, and writing to make it memorable. Throughout the points of the show that I like in season 2, The Vanishing, and even those points are sort of iffy. Like, the adaptation of The Haunted Car was mid as fuck. Monster Blood was mid as hell. Welcome to Camp Nightmare was barely even Welcome to Camp Nightmare. Girl Who Cried and Ghost and the girl, whatever, boy next door, girl next door, whatever. That shit was fucking just in title. And Stay Out of the Basement being the best one, you didn't get much Stay Out of the Basement action. You got a few good scenes, but it wasn't a big focal point focus. So they're always half-assing adaptations and not honoring them. It's just very clear to me that because there's so much filler, so much modern hip lingo thrown in just for the sake of being hip and trendy and funny instead of actually being well-written and entertaining, because there's so many slow points, because it feels like a watered down version of Stranger Things, that Rob Letterman and Sony do not want to honor the Goosebumps IP. They don't want to make Goosebumps for adults or a darker Goosebumps. They just want to make their own type of show and just use the Goosebumps IP as a way to get that. 2015 movie is just Jumanji, its own story with monsters thrown in. They don't fucking honor any of the monsters. They're there for one frame at a time, and y'all were fucking deep throating that 2015 movie like it's a fucking word of art. Yeah. Let me just quickly bust in my mouth, because that's how some of y'all were about that 2015 movie, acting like fucking Mozart made it, like fucking Quentin Tarantino cooked up that shit. It's just a Jumanji ripoff with typical tropes and fucking monsters thrown in there for half a frame. It's just a slappy show. All the other monsters, some of the monsters don't even fucking exist, like the mantis. It's just from a cover of a book, and that's Rob Letterman shit. The 2023 show, it had all of its problems. Rob Letterman was like, yeah, we looked at the Haunted Mask cover and read the book, so we're going to honor it. Don't worry. Get the fuck out of here. You did your own shit with some troll and cringy-ass edgelord, I'm 14 and this is deep type of shit, and then tried to act like you were honoring books. Rob Letterman is a fraud, and seeing the Stranger Thing watered-down ripoff just lets me know that the future of this show is not going to be what people are looking for in terms of Goosebumps, or even for new fans who just know about Goosebumps, or maybe they don't know. They're not going to be looking at the show and being like, wow, this is a banger. They're going to be like, man, Stranger Things exist. Why am I watching a watered-down version of it? It's what it is. The past season was just some Fear Street ripoff, some teen drama ripoff. People won't look at Goosebumps and be like, yeah, this is what's up. And people who don't know Goosebumps will just look at that show and be like, all right, it was cool, and forget about it after a month. Same thing with this show. If you want to make a good Goosebumps adaptation, if you want a connected Goosebumps story, go get the writers from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, the 2019 movie. They managed to take that series, put in good adaptations, set it within the right time period, decades back from the modern age, so everything made sense. They had a Stranger Things cast of characters that were much more well-written and unique than anything from these fucking seasons of this Goosebumps show. And they managed to throw in their own creativity, their own liberal direction, and they made it very, very fucking good. So go get those people on the team. Go get Dan Angel. Go get Billy Brown from the OG Goosebumps show. Go get the writers from The Haunting Hour, because The Haunting Hour is a proper, darker version of Goosebumps. Those are what you need if you want to make something proper and good. If you want Goosebumps for adults, Creepshow exists. everything about Creepshow, the comics, the movies, the TV show, the trading cards, the video games, is all what Goosebumps used to do back in the day, except Creepshow's doing it now. They make their own unique stories that are very fun, very cool, very unique, shit that you will not see in the modern age of horror. And on top of that, it's honoring the OG shit from back in the day, old school horror comics, and obviously the old school Creepshow movies. And on top of that, adding its own creative flair, modern flair, and they're taking various different authors' stories and taking stories like from Joe Hill and whoever, that as long as they fit the Creepshow vibe, they'll be adapted. That is the way to do it. That is the way for this modern takes to be good. But with Rob Letterman at the helm, with Sony backing it up as the boat, and Disney and all this shit, I'm not anti-companies, but it's very clear that they always take lazy approaches and they're always trying to do their own show and just use the Goosebumps IP as a mask, whether it be the movies, whether it be whatever. That's why Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween was more creative and unique. The first half is an amazing slappy story, deeper slappy shit than anything R.L. Stine usually does. No offense. And on top of that, it had a better character usage and better storyline usage. And there were some unique things in there. And it's because Rob Letterman was not involved with that one. But y'all hate on it because y'all wanted Horrorland. Fucking don't hit me with that shit. You think that Letterman's gonna honor Horrorland. Letterman would have made some bootleg ass Six Flag amusement park, and he would have had a few frames of some horrors and some weird ass rides, and you would have got barely shit. And I can tell you that would have happened because look at the fucking 2019 movie where he's just using still frames of monsters. There's hundreds of monsters in that movie that you don't even fucking see until you get the handbook with it. And people are like, oh, he knows what he's doing. Fuck out of here. He doesn't know how to honor the goddamn franchise. He's a leech. He does his own shit and uses the IP as a mask. The curse mask in this case. And it's just clear to me that this show is very inauthentic and corporate. And I can tell there's no passion behind it because the way they do the writing of the characters, the way they try to use this modern hip shit and certain things involving like whatever, relationships, meloteen, drama, gay relationships, whatever, to try to use that as a cushion to prevent themselves from getting criticized about the actual weaknesses in the show because they know that they can point at you and be like, oh, you're not with the times. You're not with the times. You're just a hater. That's what gaslighters love doing. And they know that the show is not that good because the same gaslighters do not talk about the show until like after the month that the show comes out. You never hear them talking about the show. You never hear these people bringing up the subject. No, they let it die. And then when the new season drops, they come out of their little bug rock crevice and then start yapping as if anybody gives a shit. I don't. When it came to the first season, I was one of the first reviewers alongside Goosebumps completionist Michael, Goosebumps fan, and other fans who were speaking up about the problems about the show. And we were getting ganged up on. We were getting tag teamed by a bunch of people talking down to us. And guess what? Halfway into the season, all y'all fucking switched beats. All y'all fucking turned around, slapped y'all ass and said, oh, clickbait titles, this show ain't good. Man, shut the fuck up, bro. We were the first ones to talk about it, and we took the shit just so y'all could flip and switch the script and act like you were the ones talking about it. Now, us standing up is why this season improved, because if we didn't speak up, this season would have been identical to season 1. Don't fucking lie to me. Y'all be sucking on dicks and not being honest about yourselves. And I don't mind if you like the show. I've spoken to many people who are very respectful where I don't like the show and they like the show. And they're like, hey man, I know you don't like it, but I enjoyed it for this reason. I had a good time. And I go, salute to you, bro. Enjoy the show. Have a good time. It's just those fucking gaslighting, gatekeeping yappers that come out of the woodwork and try to act like we can't be honest about our thoughts. When I made my YouTube channel, I was honest all the time. And I'm not going to say names, but ever since I made my YouTube channel, people have copied my lingo. People have copied my flow on how I make my videos. People have copied some of my takes. They've copied some of my ideas. There's certain things that I can't talk about y'all with that I know people don't give credit to me towards, but it's okay because I know that's what comes with the game. I know when a dude like me speaks up and it goes crazy that people are always going to have backlash. And even I had beef and drama, which I'm not going to talk about because I'm very cool with those two people. We are on good terms. But when I had drama, do you think I fucking backed down? Y'all remember that drama. I don't mean to ignite it because, again, those two people are cool. I'm just saying I didn't back down. I was honest as fuck and I handle business. That's how I am because I know I'm the real shit. I know I'm always honest to myself. It's you people who aren't honest with yourselves that are basically feeding into this shit that you know is not that good, and you try being very scared about talking about it because you feel like you're going to meet criticism, and that's why these companies and these writers get away with keep doing whatever they do. You know why Sonic franchise is so good? Everybody spoke up. Everybody did not let them slide on their precious beloved IP. And guess what? All three movies of Sonic have been bangers, honoring the Sonic franchise, and they've been gas, and they've been great. And that's what Goosebumps needs. So I'm going to do my part. This is me throwing up my jersey. I am never going to talk about future seasons of this Sony Rob Letterman show until there are big changes made, because I got better things I enjoy. I got the OG Goosebumps material. I got other kids' horror books. I got other horror material that's more authentic, more creative, and more enjoyable. So yes, this was an improvement, but it's not that fucking great. And they just put some band-aids on a bunch of boo-boos that are still leaking out pus and mold that they have not fixed and gotten rid of. So that's all I got for today. I officially throw up my jersey. Do not ask me to review Season 3 and Season 4 until I see some big changes made. And I have to speak my sense, because if I don't, nobody else is going to speak up on it. So, thank you so much to everybody who supports me. If you're respectful out there and love the show, keep doing it. You guys are great. I've talked to many of you. You're amazing. And thank you for everybody who supports me and everybody who's honest about their opinions. And those of you that are gaslighting and gatekeeping, man, suck my dick till I bust in your mouth and eye. Fuck all y'all. That's all I got for today. Deuces.